And Israel is currently on a population or on a drive to completely eradicate the entire population from the northern part of Gaza Strip. And they are literally methodically moving them past. They're continuing to have large numbers of airstrikes going in and killing people. And as that headline there just showed you, there is tremendous amounts of casualties on the Palestinian side. Their misery has not slowed down at all. In fact, you can see that highlighted part there. The UN's leading humanitarian aid official has cautioned that given the rapidly worsening conditions and an intense weeks-long offensive by the Israeli army, the entire population of North Gaza is at risk of dying, being starved to death or being blown up. And there was also some operations, and I think they're still ongoing. And no, I'm sorry, I read this morning that they actually had completed it in one of the last remaining hospitals in the entire Gaza Strip, where Israel had actually gone inside the hospital and destroyed a great deal of its capacity. It's a very limited capacity to provide any kind of help. Depending on who you talk to, they either took a handful of the actual hospital personnel or a large number of them, depending on the claimed on the other side. But we do know that some, because both sides are admitting that Israel went in there and destroyed a great deal of the capacity and did take the medical hospital staff, some number of them, out and to some unknown location. And of course, the net is that now the people of Palestine who are wounded and hurt in combat or in the rubble of the fallout of the explosions, they don't have anywhere to go for any kind of medical help. And of course, many are going to die without just basic hospital capabilities. Now, I'm going to show you a bit of a video clip here that's been going on. Yeah, thanks for that, Gary. That's the headline there. They say that now this what is it? I guess it's the 14th month of war. Hard to believe, but it's actually getting at its darkest moment now, and it's continuing to unfold for the people of Palestine. This video I'm about to show you, it's not going to have any audio for a couple of reasons. One, it's got some music behind it, and that can often get us demonetized, and we don't want to get into that. But it's also hard to listen to because you're going to see in it a mother who's talking about some of her losses, and I'll just tell you, listen to it live. It's hard to hear. But Gary, go ahead and roll that tape. This is what's been going on by Israel. It says that these are some of the 14 kids killed by an Israeli strike on their house. 13 were from the same family. And there's some blurred out pictures here, but you can see them. This woman says, my son was killed. He was 5 years old. He was martyred. She says, my husband was martyred at the beginning of the war. And you see the grief on the screen there. They targeted him, though he had no relation to Hamas, she says. I don't know what they want from us. She continues. Now, the Israel strike hit several residential buildings, which you can see on the screen there, and it's literally turned to dust. Nothing left in it. This crater is all that remains of one, it says on the screen right there. And goodness, 38 people in total died in this bombing. 38 people in residential houses. And you can see this kid here says, I ran to my mother. I didn't know what to do. While I was trying to dig her out, I looked up and I saw a tank aiming at me. Everyone was doing the same and digging in fear. Then a quadcopter came and started shooting at us. So you see, it's really, really getting hard for Israel to claim, oh, well, Hamas was using them as human shields and they were hiding in the basement or whatever. I mean, that's kind of a boilerplate that they say. And look, it's just common sense that there can't be, literally a Hamas hiding in every house and that they're just spread out there. So every single building they take down was a legitimate military target. I mean, that's long since been exposed as just being ridiculous. And it's very clear through what you can see with your own eyes that Israel is trying to systematically wipe out the ability of anyone to live in the Gaza Strip. And then you see it from the eyewitnesses right there, even while they're trying to dig out the rubble. Then after the bomb comes in, you see the ground troops come in and they start to shoot any male that they see. And I don't know if that was a male. Who knows if they're shooting anyone that they see. But they were definitely, they're trying to pull people out of the rubble. If they appear, they're being taken under fire. And then you had the quadcopters come in, and they're also taking people under fire that they see are just trying to recover bodies, trying to dig people out of the rubble that may still be alive. That's the reality, folks. I know some of you don't like it. I know especially some of those supporters of Israel want to believe all the statements that they hear, that this is just going after Hamas and this is what they did to us on October 7th, 2023, etc. We're way past that, folks. Look, even if you're for Israel, you can't be blind to what's going on. This is the hard, ugly truth of what's happening here. And I'm just telling you from someone who cares about the Israeli people, who cares about the Jews, who also cares equally about the Palestinian people. There will be no peace for anyone in Israel. They will not succeed in this war. They won't even win in the one section here of Hamas, much less the other ones, which we're going to get to in a second. If you care about Israel, if you want them to have peace, this is the worst thing they can do. The path that they're on right now will not get peace. It will just engender more and more hatred. It will build up over time more and more vows of revenge, because many of these people can't do anything. Just imagine that kid there who was trying to dig out relatives out of the rubble, and he's getting taken by Israeli gunships and tanks and whatnot. I mean, what do you think he's going to do in the future? Let's say that the war ends 6 months from now. We'll just say, what do you think is going to happen after that? Do you think this kid is going to say, okay, well, great, I'll go and just for the rest of the foreseeable future, I'll be living in this dust that used to be a house, and I'll just put a tent up or whatever kind of material I can to block myself from the wind or whatever, and I'll just be content? I mean, does anybody think that's going to happen? That now then we'll live at peace with Israel? I don't think I have to fill in the rest of the blank there. You can do that for yourself.